Once upon a time, there was a cat. And this cat was very, very old. And as old cats often are, this cat was very, very grumpy. And very, very lazy. All of which are excellent things for cats to be. Different people called the cat different names. To some children in the neighborhood, he was Uncle Grumposaurus. To the little old lady who would come by every once in a while to scratch his belly, he was Theodore. And to the security guard who worked next to him, he was just, "Hey, you." And now the reason he worked next to a security guard is because this cat wasn't like other city cats. Some cats live and work in bodegas. Other cats live in bookstores. But Uncle Grumposaurus, aka Theodore, aka Hey You, worked in a bank. No one knew how he got the job exactly. It certainly wasn't for his people skills. He liked the little old lady who scratched his belly. But most of the time, if someone else tried to make friends, he would pitch an absolute fit and either run around to the other corners of the bank or just hiss at them. And it wasn't for his, stalwart guard cat powers. He was not a particularly active cat. Mostly just sat around and, gave himself a little lick here, a little lick there. Sometimes take a nap on the ATM. But everyone at the bank agreed it was good to keep the cat around. And then one day, the thing that everyone who works at a bank fears might one day happen, did one day happen. Now, bank robberies are not nearly as common as the movies would have you believe, but they do still happen. And one day, in the middle of the afternoon, 3 armed men broke into the bank. All loud noises and quick movements, which the cat did not like. Granted, the humans didn't like it either. But the cat wasn't really thinking about the humans. The cat was thinking about his nap that had been unbelievably, rudely interrupted. If you want a cat to hold a lifelong grudge against you, ruin a damn good nap. Now everyone at the bank knew what to do in the situation. They knew the bank was insured. They knew not to make a fuss. They did what was asked for them. And the bank robbers were still quite jittery, even though everything seemed to be going well. Looking around, making sure no one was getting any ideas. But even though they did all this looking around, not a single one of them did realize that there was a cat in the bank. And they had planned for every eventuality, so they thought. But they had not planned for a cat with a grudge. While 2 of the men were stuffing cash into a suitcase, Uncle Grumposaurus, aka Theodore, aka Bartholomew Stubbins, aka Henry Jackson, snuck up behind the third one, who was bullying some customers, trying to prove he was a big man. Everyone's a big man until they get bit by a cat. And he bit down hard. And the man whirled around, but Theodore was too quick. The reason he had been so lazy is he had been saving up energy for just a moment like this. A grumpy cat like him knew that one day someone would ruin his nap, and he was going to make them pay. The faster he turned around, the faster Theodore was behind him again and again, biting him again and again on the ankles, on the leg, climbing up his back, scratching his eyes out, and the howling made the other two men turn around. And they couldn't believe what they were seeing. And that moment of hesitation, that moment of stunned shock was their downfall, because Theodore was on them in a flash. Claws of fury hissing in their ears, screaming and yowling and slashing and biting. The first one had already done a runner out the door, terrified by this beast. But the other two were not so lucky to escape quickly. Theodore, aka Uncle Grumposaurus, aka Alistair Rex, aka Lil Pumpkin, made them pay for ruining his nap with every tooth, claw, and admittedly he did fart on one of them. And by the time they finally managed to get away, everyone there knew they would never try something this stupid again. And Theodore didn't brag, didn't boast, didn't make a big deal about how he had just saved everyone, protected their cash and their precious jewels and gems. He just went back to his sunbeam, curled up, and got back to his goddamn nap. The end.